Hi, welcome to the Ellis Talker Show. I'm DV LeBron. Today I have a very special guest, Mr. Wayne Sibley, Midlothian City Council. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good.
Well, sir, I thank you for inviting me into your home. This is a little bit different than what I usually do it, but you know what? He's been gracious enough to let me do this interview in his home, and I'm very thankful. So I wanted to go ahead and go ahead and have you introduce yourself, because I know there's been some growth in the city. There's a lot of new rooftops, and somebody may not know you, Mr. Sibley. So can you go ahead and tell the people of Midlothian about yourself?
Okay. Well, I was born down the street where we live right now. And my parents had bought some property about a mile and a half down the street. It wasn't Mount Zion Road then. It was just Route 3 Midlothian. It was country stuff. And that's where I grew up. I graduated from high school in 1955. Had a big day year that year. Graduated from school, joined the Marine Reserve, got married, and moved to Arlington, start college. And it was Arlington State College then, not UTA. It was a small college at that time. So when I left Midlothian, the population was 10,000. I'm sorry, 1,050. 20 years later, when I came back, the population was 2,000.
Okay.
Didn't grow up very much at that time.
Yeah.
But we spent 20 years in Arlington. My oldest son graduated from Sam Houston High School in Arlington. And my daughter and my other son were still in high school when they came down here. And we all went together, like I said, put this house together. And we were really out in sticks. And if there's 4 or 5 cars a day went down the road, that was a real busy day.
Wow.
Now I've waited for more than 25 to go by for me to get out of my driveway. So it's busier now. But when I came back, like I said, it was only 2,000 people, but that was 43 years ago.
Yeah.
And now we're over 30. So
wow.
My employment history, I've never been unemployed. I've always had at least one job, in many cases 2 or 3.
Well, that's a lot of jobs.
After going to work the fire department, there was always something comes up. Well, I wanted to be a pilot. So I had a vending machine at the airport that they had out on Bowen and 303 in Arlington. And whatever money I got out of that machine, I paid them for lessons to fly.
Wow.
And I got my pilot's license. And then I went on and I got my commercial license, my multi-engine license, and my instrument instructor license to go with all of that. I was going to see if I couldn't go to work in the airline. And we were looking, they said I didn't have enough flying time, and they're really looking for multi-engine jet time.
Yeah, they were looking for.
I said, you're looking for retired military pilots. He said, well, basically, yeah.
Right.
I said, well, I understand. That eliminated me.
Right.
I was too old. I was 30 years old then.
That's advanced in age there.
Yeah. So a friend of mine, we went together and bought a Cessna 182, and I taught people instrument flying in that. And I bought a Cessna 140 and rebuilt it and taught all the other students in that. I did that for 5 years.
Yeah.
And also I did roofing for 5 years. A lot of it together.
So you ended up getting property here, and you ended up getting this bringing your house from Arlington and stuff, and so you made roots in this place.
Oh yeah.
So how did you end up coming to, working your way into the political realm?
Well, I got annexed.
That'll do it.
And I was upset, like most people are upset when they get annexed. And I talked to the city manager up at the conference center when he was presenting this. Talked to the city manager and the city planner. And I kept telling him, you don't need to annex me. I've got everything I need. You're not going to give me anything else. And they tried to sell me on something. I said, look, you don't want to annex me, because if you annex me, I'm going to run for city council and I'll be your boss.
I love it. Yeah.
Well, we all laughed. They did, I did, and I am. Mm-hmm. And I've been on the council for 17 years now.
I know.
I got beat. I came on in 05. I got beat in 10 by it's either 5 or 7 votes, just barely got beat. But we annexed a big populace, and they swore to get rid of the city council and fire all the staff. You know, they were really mad. Well, they got me. They beat me by 5 votes. They had over 800 votes in there in what we annexed, and they only beat me by 5 votes.
Wow.
So anyway, that's what got me on the council. And I thought, what's going on in the council? What does it do? How is it going to help the city? And, you know, I'm the city now. What do we need to do? And it's not just this area. I'm a council for the whole city. We need to take care of everything in the city, everybody in the city.
Yes, sir.
And at one time we had one person that was running for council, and she was really into making it a single member district council. And she got defeated. And that's probably why she got defeated, because, you know, my position is I work for everybody, not just a group. And a lot of politicians, and some of have been that way in our years here, that the council person has more desire to satisfy his political needs than he does to satisfy the citizens of Midlothian.
And that happens in politics. It definitely happens in politics.
Yeah, and that's not going to happen with me, I tell you.
Well, you know what? That there's one thing that, I mean, maybe your decisions from here in the last, you know, all these years that you've been in the council, maybe some things could be questioned and some things cannot, but your integrity cannot. That is one thing that cannot. So that's what I'll say about, from what I've learned. I haven't known you, sir, but from what I've learned and talked to people. How important is it to you having a transparent government for the people of Midlothian?
Well, that's absolutely necessary. I mean, no question in my mind about it. I mean, we have executive session meetings, and they have the good point, and that has to be closed. In that, give an example, we had one company that we've been dealing with for probably about 3 years. I don't know exactly. And every time we met with them, it was a different name, because they wanted to keep their name out of it until such time as a decision was made. Well, they finally made a decision. One night, they came to executive session to council, and this lady said, "I guess you want to know who we are." "Yeah, we really do." She said, "We're Google."
Oh, okay.
And then she laid out the plans they're looking at. The first year, they built a plant out in Railport that it's a $500 million facility.
Yes, sir.
And they plan on building 10 of them here in Midlothian.
Right.
They built 2 already now. You know, something like that, bringing it up to that point, they didn't want anybody to know who they were to do this, because name changing, and that's the kinds of things, when you get something good going, a lot of people are after it. They want to keep, when they start dealing with you, they're looking at you, and have you got what I need? You got the services I need, and you got the properties I need, and is it profitable for us?
Right.
And until such time as they've convinced it is, they're not going to tell you who they are. They can tell you some of the stuff they do, but you know, and then you kind of figure out maybe what to do, what they are. But that comes as a total surprise to us.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny that they wanted to see who you were before they showed themselves to be Google. That was a big get. That was a big thing to get here. But I wanted to ask you. There are people who agree with your decisions, and there are people who don't.
Right.
How in this time that you've been in the council, what have you done to kind of foster a relationship with those that do you open communication with those that don't agree with you?
Yeah. In some cases, it's been, you know, we argue back and forth. I vote this way, you vote that way.
Yes, sir.
We go have dinner after that. You know, that's the job.
Yes, sir.
You vote your side, and I vote mine. I vote what I think the people want.
Yes, sir.
You vote what you think the people want. We differ. We can agree to disagree.
It sounds like you build consensus and stuff. And, going into the issues, one of the issues that hits people, and they always talk about, especially when they get their bill, is taxes. And taxes are something that, people are losing their homes. And I've talked to other people who are running and other candidates and stuff, opponents of yours and different people. And, taxes always come up and people are losing their homes to taxes. And it's when somebody says, hey, it's only a few cents here or a dollar there, when somebody's getting ready to lose their house for taxes, that dollar might as well be $1 million. So how do you balance that need for people to get tax relief, actual tax relief, and having to, run the city?
A lot of people think, well, the city raises their taxes every year. No, we set a tax rate every year, and it's been the same for probably 10 years, up until about 3 years ago. And we cut it 1 cent then, and we cut it 2 cents then, and last year we cut it all the way back. We were at
67,
70 cents, 70
right.
Point something, and we're at 65, I think it is now.
65, yes, sir.
And that's, people say, well, that's too much. Well, do they understand what 65 is? It's 0.065 is what the rate is, and that's based on per $100 evaluation. And you got a house that, like I got a house I paid $3,000 for. Well, the taxing entity don't see that now.
Mm-mm. No.
So my tax on this house, not the whole place, just the house, this year is way too high.
Mm-hmm.
But it's there, and the money that comes out of that for the city, they've got to have money to run on, and that tax rate, we've cut it and cut it and cut it, and it's hurt us in doing some of our jobs, but we've done it to try to help people out, and we're always got to have the money. Now I know we got a guy running for state legislature. He's running on tax. He's going to eliminate property taxes. Well, that's all fine and good, but where is the city going to get the money to operate on?
Well,
I mean, what I'm concerned about, he's going to be pushing to do a state income tax to get that money. Well, I'm certainly not for that. The prices are going up, so everything we do as a city is costing more, just like it costs you more to do whatever you do.
yes, sir.
It costs more for the city to do it.
Right.
And if you cut the taxes, then you're not going to get the services that you deserve.
So when they brought up, and I watched the tax debate, and I talked to several city officials and Mr. Dick during the budget stuff, so that I could bring that out to the people, so they can actually see this, see these numbers like what you're talking about. So I want that. During that time, they were arguing. There was talk about no new revenue. There was like 3 different tax rates you were debating, and I didn't see anybody out there purposely trying to screw any taxpayer. I didn't see that. I saw people that were really looking into this and trying to figure out how to make it happen.
I've been on the council, and we've gone down in the last 3 years over the tax rate. And one other time, I think it was 06 or 07, we went down to the recession. We went down with the tax rate then. And then we hurt ourselves when doing it. And so after the recession's over, we had to go back up on the tax rate. I don't like to go up and down.
Right.
I'd rather pick a number and stay with it. And we've stayed at that 7 point something for many years.
Right.
Probably 10, 12 years anyway. the same tax rate. We're getting more tax money because the rate, you got a $100,000 house this year. Next year, you got a $200,000 house. My tax rate is 7 cents here. The next year, it's still 7 cents. But we're getting more money because you're charging more taxes from the county.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way it works.
Right. Your valuations go up, and so with that no new revenue, they were the way I understand it. I'm not an expert at this. I never claimed to be.
Me either.
What I understood from it was that, yes, the valuations go up, so you're getting more money. There was like $14 million more that came into the budget in a year, according to, and the numbers might be a little bit, but that's kind of what I read on the budget from last year. It was going to be like $14 million more that came in with the rate set at 65. And so when they were talking about no new revenue, it would have just been flat. The way I understand it, it would have been flat at what you got last year. And so with people hurting with taxes, and I ask everybody this, and the reason, and I try to make it a reason to talk about this, because I know that there's a lot going on with the city. You guys have to do stuff. There's all these rec parks and stuff going on. So there's needs. But why is that something, or is that something that you ever see yourself supporting?
What?
The no new revenue rate?
No.
Okay.
That's not in my wheelhouse. That's kind of like where building is right now. After the state got through with us, all these new homes you see around Midlothian, big nice homes.
Yes, sir.
Well, they're like that because the city had ordinance. It says this must be the way you build it.
Right.
So the builders built them like our regulation says.
Mm-hmm.
Well, state government passes a law and says you can't do that. They have a national building code,
Mm-hmm.
which is a minimum standard.
Okay.
And the state says you can't go above the minimum standard. So you build the minimum standard.
Okay.
That standard was put out there to say you can't get below this.
Mm-hmm.
It don't say you can't go above it.
Right.
But the state says you can't go above it.
That's interesting.
So all these big nice houses right now, they're still going to build them like that. They're going to have to sell them because everything around is big nice houses.
Yes, sir.
So we don't have to have an ordinance that says that's what they must be.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because to sell them, they're going to have to build them like that.
Right. And they definitely have gone up in value. And there are some very nice houses that are being built here. I never see small houses really being built here. They're usually at least 2,000 square feet. There are some, but what I've seen here and there.
Yeah. Well, I think we have minimum standard. I think it's 1,600 square feet.
Okay.
That's our minimum standard.
Minimum standard is 1,600 square feet. Growth, since we're talking about it,
Yeah,
we're this is basically where we're headed. You've seen a lot of growth. You were talking about it earlier. How do you manage that growth and maintain that small town feel that people talk about?
Well, it's really the people is what the small town feel is. You're talking to people. I have an example. My trees fall out here and I sell firewood every year.
Yes, sir.
Had somebody buying it, and the lady that he bought some, said they just built a house over, or they're building a house or renting one right now. Mm-hmm. She was raised in Houston,
mm-hmm.
and she got married at college in Alabama. They'd been living in Alabama for years. They decided they wanted to go back to Texas. So they came back and drove around Houston, everything around Houston. They couldn't find anything that fit, they didn't think.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, let's go to Dallas and see something up that area. Well, they stopped out here and got gas on the way out. And talked to some people that was there. And started talking about how Midlothian's growing, and they went out and drove around and looking at it and said, Midlothian may be what we're looking for. And talked to some more people uptown and got more favorable. And then they went back to Alabama. And they had some dinner with the friends up there, and they had been out around, but not living down here. But she was telling them that they've been down looking in Texas about moving back to Texas. And this girl was talking to him, said, well, if you're going to go to Texas, you need to go to Midlothian.
Mm.
And she said, that did it. She said, we had pretty much set on Midlothian as far as we was going. But somebody out of the clear blue out of state says, if you're going to go there, you need to go here in that town, in that state.
Right.
She said, that just sealed it. Now they're building a house here.
Wow. Ain't that
So, and the way things are, I don't know, a lot of people were against us building a Walmart.
right?
Well, they all say, well, we got a Walmart 10 miles in any direction, so we don't need a Walmart in Midlothian. Well, we didn't go out to bring Walmart in here. Walmart came to us and said, we want to put a store in your city. Well, we said, well, there's things you're going to have to do if you build one there here.
Mm-hmm.
And we had 21 items. And the first one was, it's got to be the A store, the best store that Walmart builds. It's got to be healed. And a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Down to the last day, when they came for the approval, they still had a problem. They wanted 16,000 square feet of outside sales. In other words, trash the parking lots. We said we'd give them 6. And just a lot of discussion went on. And the head guy from Walmart probably said, I'm going to solve this problem for all of us right now. Just take that paragraph completely out and put that there will be 0 outside sales.
Oh,
That was the last thing we needed to have all 21 items done.
yeah.
And so I felt good about us putting that store in.
Yeah. And you've been around for that. You've been around for the growth. One of the things that when I've talked to different city leaders throughout, Ellis County, they talked about making their city a place where you can work, where you can shop, where you can play, where, just all encompassing. Is that something that you as a councilman envision it kind of going?
Absolutely. We've been talking about that for years. Like the next thing that I have on my list to get done was passed in the last bond issue, and that's the recreation center and swimming pool. I think this city needs that, and we've been discussing doing that. And we got a bond issue passed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they get City Hall and police station built, that's the next thing on my list.
I've heard that about that discussion. Yeah, the rec. And I had that. I actually talked with our mayor-elect about that and moving forward with that and some of the logistics of that. Right.
And as far as, I guess, in my mind, the major issue for anybody coming in to Midlothian is water.
Okay.
Because when I first got on the council, the water we had was, we were getting out of Joe Fu Lake. And we're still getting it out of about 6 million gallons a day out of Joe Fu Lake. But we're using more than that. So one of the first things that I did after I got on the council would be with the utility committee. We built a second water treatment plant. And that water treatment plant, we started out with 6 million gallons. We're in the process right now of updating that plant to be able to produce 24 million gallons a day.
Wow.
Well, we're still pulling 6 million out of Joe Fu Lake.
Wow.
And when we built the other plant, we tied the 2 plants together so we could get water from either one to the other. And we selling a lot of water now. Grand Prairie buys 2 million gallons a day. Red Oak buys 2 million gallons a day. Sardis Long Elm buys almost 2 million gallons. Mountain Peak buys almost 2 million gallons. Venus buys 1 million gallons. So we're selling water. Now, when they start buying that, we have them they have to go to Trinity River and get they have to buy the rights to whatever the water they need that comes through our plant. We don't buy it and sell it. They buy it and we treat it.
Okay.
And we get.
And they got to pay you for it.
Yeah, we make money on that.
I've never actually had somebody come on and talk to me about water rights. That's something I had never looked at, but without water, you die. So you need water.
When I first got on the council, there had just been a big argument between the city and the water district because the city is over in the water district over here.
Mm-hmm.
And he put them together. And there was a lot of fussing and arguing over that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the best moves made in years. Google is a good example. They had to have much water for their plants.
Right.
And Midlothian had it. they hadn't had much power. Midlothian got the power plant right in Railport too. So they built right there where they got what they need.
Right.
And our goal is to have other people come into Midlothian like this and say, we need to put our product in your city.
Right.
And I think we've had a lot that have come in like that. But the only one I can think of was Walmart. The only one I can think of, they came in and said, we want to put a store here. Now, Kroger, the developer of that process, I think it was negotiated some before they came to settle in and say, we're going to put a store in Midlothian. And again, we told them, we won't take anything but the top of the line. So that's what we got.
Okay.
So that's how that got built.
Yeah.
And everything, there's all that other things have come in since. It's like, I'll build this, what goes with it? It'll come in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, we look at that when we're trying to decide what to do. And our Midlothian Development Corporation, they go out and look at companies and see what companies are looking for, and they bring economic development. They bring a lot to us.
Yeah.
We had one thing that was brought to it I think would be great for the city, but had a couple of people who were violently against it.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be I think it's a big loss. It'll probably go to Mansfield or Waxahachie instead of Midlothian.
So, unfortunately, I'm running out of time a little bit.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It's okay. I wanted to get your thoughts on City Hall and what you envision with that and how that project's going. And then I'm going to give you a chance to speak directly to people in Midlothian and tell them why they should reelect you.
Okay.
So if you could tell me about the downtown and you could tell me about what's going on over there and what you envision with it.
Well, right now they're getting most of the concrete out of the way. It's in that site, and it's well underway, I guess. And I've viewed the building, what it's supposed to look like when they get through, and I'm pleased with what they came up with. The first thing they came up with, I was, I didn't say I would vote against it. I told them, I said, this doesn't fit Midlothian. It was an all glass building, everything glass.
Real high tech. Huh?
Yeah, there's nothing fits Midlothian.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking. I said, let me ask you this: if you've seen the City Hall in South Lake, well, one of these guys on our program, he helped draw the plans for South Lakes.
Yes, sir.
And he said, yeah, I've seen it. And they all pull it up on the phone, look at it. I said, yeah, now that fits in Midlothian. You got you downtown here,
Mm-hmm.
you put the City Hall here, then it'll fit. That other one just flat wouldn't fit.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So you building.
Yes, I've done building and budget. That was something else when I first got on the council. City manager said this job is not a problem except when it comes budget time. I said, why is that? And he said, because it's such a big budget. I said, how big is the budget? He said, $11 million. And we're talking about 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, I think I can handle that. I said, my part of the public safety budget at DFW Airport was $14 million. Yeah. And that didn't include $5 million for fire trucks. It was their maintenance budget.
Right.
I think I can deal with those numbers.
You're right.
And I think I've dealt with those numbers. And so many times, some of the things that come in, like we had Councilman come in, he promised everybody when he got on the council, he was going to cut the budget by $2 million. My first question to him during the budget exit, I said, how many police officers and firefighters are you going to eliminate to get your $2 million? He said, well, no, eliminate anybody like that. I said, well, you realize that the budget is probably 60 to 70%
I was
personnel.
Yeah, it's like 69% personnel, the budget. I was reading that, yeah.
So if you're going to cut that kind of money, you're going to have to go into the personnel.
Right.
Well, there was two of them came on like that. And after some discussion with Chris, they finally, he explained what this is all about. And one of them agreed, and the other, he just fought and fought. And we ended up cutting that budget $1 million. And we've got one person on the council right now that's ready to spend every bit of her savings. Our reserve funds.
Yeah.
We don't need a reserve fund. Just buy this with that. Well, what the reserve fund is all about, and what it's been since I've been on there, we strive to have 180 days of reserve fund.
Right.
And that's so that if the income stopped, the city can still run at this capacity for 6 months without stopping.
Right.
Most cities, if they have 80 or 90 days, they're happy. We've set a goal more than that, and we keep 180 days. Well, back in 07 and 08, when the deep recession hit, we didn't lay off anybody. We didn't stop any services. We went on as normal.
Because you had that cushion.
Right.
Wow.
And people didn't get raises, but they didn't lose a job either.
Right.
Where other cities were laying off and big
Laying
time.
off and putting people out, and
So
and
we have looked out for citizens, and that's what I'm there for.
Right.
Is for the citizens. I don't have any political aspirations. I'm not going anywhere. I'm
Right.
retired, and I'm gonna live right here till I die. So,
yeah.
and I'm gonna pay taxes whether I like it or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well, this is the part of the show where you get to talk directly to the people of Midlothian, and give them your spiel. Why should they vote for you again, and just talk to them directly. I'll step out of the way, and this is yours.
okay. Well, citizens, I will first say I appreciate you electing me these several terms to serve you, because I'm working for you, and I understand that. I don't always agree with what you want, but when it comes to the final issues, I still go with it, and I'm still pulling for you all along. And I just made a list of a few things that's happened since I've been on the council. Walmart was one of them. Well, the first thing that happened, first big thing that happened after I got on the council was the 287 bypass. That was a pretty big deal. If you look at 287 right now and think about all that traffic going through town, you can see how important that was. This next thing was Walmart. The next one was the police station. The police station today, in 2005 or 6, we bought the First Baptist Church for the police department. They were in City Hall at that time, and they moved out to where the church was. That's where they are now, and that one's going to be torn down for the new one that's going under construction now. Water and sewer replacement is ongoing in the old town, and that's a constant thing all the way. Built Fire Station 3, put safety officer in school. We started with just one officer in high school, and now we have an officer in each high school and in middle schools, and the supervisor on the police department. In 2010, we built the Community Park Phase 1. A lot of people used that, but we wanted to build all of it, but it just cost so much money. We spent all we had. Airport rail runway expansion, the Navarro College expansion, water treatment plant 2 was done in 2013, and now it's being upgraded to, it was started out at 6 million gallons. It's being upgraded to 24 million now. We needed a memory care unit in town. They built one in Midtown, in Midlothian Healthcare Center, Legacy Oaks. Then Kroger came in with their complex, and Google came in with a $100 million project, with the future expecting to build 10 of them, and they've already built 2 of them now. In 2020, and in 2020 is when we built Fire Station number 1, moved it out on Main Street, has best response times for there anywhere. And you finally got a bridge built over Walnut Grove. It's about 287. And we tried to get them to build when they built the highway, but TxDOT is the one that was in charge of it. And we got a hospital now. We got Methodist Hospital. We've got a Scott and White Emergency Center over 287.
Been busy.
Yeah, we've done a lot of things. Of course, I'm talking about 17 years that you folks keep putting me in, and I appreciate that. And I'm looking for one more time this time
to kind of get those next things done.
Yeah.
Well,
and the big thing I'm looking at, like I said, is the rec center and swimming pool.
Excellent. Well, Mr. Sibley, I hate to cut it off. It's just people definitely, they give me their time to listen to you guys, and
well, I appreciate it too, BB.
But I want to tell you, because I tell everybody who runs and everybody on there, thank you for wanting to serve your community, and especially in your case, you've been serving your community since before I was born, and you've been doing this faithfully in some way, shape, or form, and that's big. That's big. That's a life of service. And I told you that offline, and that's big. So, thank you for that. And I thank every candidate for wanting to serve or serving. And I definitely want to thank you because you've been doing that. And I thank Mayor Reno. And that's going to be coming up with the interview of our mayor-elect. When I air that, Mayor Reno did a lot for the city. And, I love that old devil dog. He's
I didn't even know him before he got elected.
Yeah. Wow.
I have never met him until he became mayor.
Ah, that's something.
But I think he's probably one of the best mayors I've been with and I've worked with.
There's a lot to be said.
I think.
Yeah, there's been a lot to be said for him. Anyway, I have some. I will be discussing the bonds coming up. I have the superintendent coming on to talk about that. The president of the board for MISD. And Waxahachie, for those of you who are watching, I got some stuff coming for you too. And, I hope you will watch. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Thanks again for talking with me, Mr. Sibley.
Thanks, Davey. I appreciate it.